All right, let's fade out the music. All right. Happy witching hour. This is High Priestess Jamila. And I am back to do the spiritual analysis on the Leonard Cure situation that just happened, the unfortunate event that just happened. Uh, and so pretty much, first of all, I want to do a disclaimer. Okay, this is one of my spiritual analysis videos. Okay, every once in a while, something will catch my spiritual eye, and I'll see something, and it's interesting to me. It's not just interesting, but it is also some of the things that we are plagued by in this day and age, and it affects all of us, which is spiritual ignorance, spiritual possession, um and it's very scary. Okay, it is. And so I want to point this out. This is for educational purposes. This is not about whether or not a cop has the right to shoot someone. This is not about civil rights. I don't even speak about those things. This channel is a channel about witchcraft. Now, I do believe that witchcraft can be of a great help. But what caught my eye about this was what was happening during the detainment of Leonard Cure and some of the things that he was saying. And so I'm going to give my commentary. I actually recorded some footage and to point out a couple of things to you guys that I noticed, which I'm going to show that to you guys in just a few minutes. Um, all I ask is that you please respect my spiritual commentary on this. This is, and I know that this is a triggering topic. I know this is a very sensitive topic. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I just recently dealt with some racism, I believe. Okay. I did. I just recently dealt with some racism. And then also on the other side of the coin, I I've been the victim of black on black crime against me because I am a black witch, and I've been the victim of black on black crime. Not only that, because I am a witch, because of my spiritual beliefs, having black, not just black males, but just the black community being very judgmental of me. So I catch it from both sides. And I just ask that, you be respectful. This is not about emotion. This is about doing a spiritual analysis. I did a similar spiritual analysis on Beatrice Bijou. And I noticed that, it was a lot of support on that video, but there was a few people that, were kind of unsavory. I don't know why. It's so weird. I have the right to express my ideas and how I feel. And so I just ask that that's respected. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna start with I had to break down the commentary that I did when I recorded the commentary, pointing out a few things to you guys. This is not about whether or not the cops did their job, honestly. It's not. It's not about that. This is a spiritual analysis of the situation that happened. Okay? That's what this is. This is not about whether or not I feel that the cops should have the right to have a gun, but shooting people. But I'm pretty sure that if you were somebody that was getting ready to be beaten up or killed by somebody, if you care about yourself, you would be shooting too. And then also, if the police just so happen to be there to save you, you'd be grateful, hopefully. I don't know any, unless everybody just has battered people syndrome and no one cares about themselves, and we're really experiencing Mark Wahlberg's The Happening or something. Okay, around this piece. Okay, all right. So this is High Priestess Jamila. I got a banner to go across the bottom, and so I'm gonna play the first video clip. Okay. All right, folks. I felt like this would be easier. I am going to examine this footage and sorry, I just ate instantly. I could recognize a couple of different things in this footage. Um, so I want to point out some things that are very strange. And I will be throwing my cards as I'm doing this, okay? So, and I'm going to periodically pause it and give my commentary, okay? I don't know why this doesn't have any. There should be some. It's probably down low. So, okay, apparently that was the truck that was speeding by, and that's when he went on the pursuit. You see that gray truck? So that was the gray truck that Leonard Cure was in, and so he immediately started pursuing him, which he's clearly going very fast. And apparently he was going above the speed limit. Okay, and you know what? Speed limits are there for a reason. Okay, they are. There's a reason why. Okay. Okay, so he's pulling over, swerving in and out of traffic. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty busy highway. Yeah, he's clearly going extremely fast, extremely fast. So he had a reason to pull him over. Okay. Okay, so now he's being pulled over. And I think that the sound is going to kick in. This screen recorder, I wish that I would have used the one that allows you. There's like different apps you can use to put in commentary.
Step out! Get out! Get out! Put your hands back here. I ain't doing shit.
Okay. So clearly Leonard Cure has an attitude. Clearly he is being very aggressive. You know, and it's, you know, he probably honestly doesn't like the police very much because he was in prison and he was wrongfully convicted, okay, for years, okay? And so what's interesting is what happens next.
Damn hands back here. Who are you? Staff Sergeant of the Sheriff's Office. My name is Yahweh. I don't...
Okay, so first of all, when he says my name is Yahweh, who is Yahweh? Was he trying to say Yahweh? So this is why I said that I feel like this guy was possessed. Okay, because he didn't give the officer his real name. He said Yahweh. And so you can tell that he's under possession. And I want to point out another aspect of this. I believe that he may have been trying to say Yahweh, maybe. And so I'm just going to throw a couple of cards here at this point. Hopefully this thing doesn't time out and kind of force me to edit this freaking video. All right, spirit guides. Thank you, Saint Michael. Thank you. I'm going to go with Saint Michael on this one and spirit guides. Guidance here on the Leonard Cure situation. What did Leonard Cure mean by his name is Yahweh? What did they? Okay, guys, so I've got to play the next clip. So in the next clip is going to reveal what is in the cards. And just to let you guys know, there was black magic spirits, very malevolent spirits that was in Leonard Cure at the time of this incident. One of my moderators was stating earlier or yesterday that the spirit had came from the police officer and it did not come from the police officer. Okay, this came from somewhere else because what the reading revealed, and listen, I have no reason to just like, I'm very unbiased on these things. I have to be. Okay. Like I said, as a black woman, I have experienced racism. As a black woman, I have also experienced black on black crime. I am simply giving my commentary. I'm going to go ahead and play the next clip. It mean when he said that. Okay, so the Five of Swords comes up in the inverted position. So he was ready for battle. And then also he was under some kind of mental influence at the time. I got the Queen of Wands in the inverted position, Five of Cups upright, Ace of Cups upright, Page of Swords inverted, and Eight of Pentacles upright. Okay, so what I'm getting from this, because this is a negative situation, is that I don't want to say that the Queen of Wands is the Queen of Wands is a spirit. And Five of Cups and Ace of Cups tells me that there was a marine spirit. So this tells me that this man was ready to die. He was ready to die that day. He was. And part of the reason is because he's, you know, institutionalized, okay, first of all, for being in prison for so long. But both of them was kind of like, they were both like high, what do you call that? Let me make sure I'm still recording, hopefully. Okay, I am. I'm still recording. Okay. They were both kind of like in bad spirits, I will say that, but the deputy was doing his job because he stopped a speeder. And so this guy clearly was under, he was not drunk, obviously, but he was under the influence of a spirit, which is this Queen of Wands in the inverted position. And it's a marine spirit as well. The cop has got some spirit in him as well. Um, and the Ace of Cups tells me that Leonard was pretty much ready to give his life. He didn't care. He was in a self-destructive spirit. Yahweh. That sounds like Yahweh to me. And so I've noticed that people that are very religious, I've noticed this, even the people, like a few people that I ran into in social media recently, they're saying things like, I'm ready to die and I'm ready to go home, which is so weird. Okay, fine. That's your choice. But, just don't project that to me. Yeah. So anyway, let's look at the video.
Don't care. Step to the rear of this vehicle.
In the name of who?
In the name of who? Okay. So what that means is when he says in the name of who, that is a term that even I use when I'm doing ritual sometimes. So was there, I'm going to ask spirit, was somebody doing work on him? Was there some kind of work, some kind of witchcraft that was being used on him, on Leonard Cure? Yes or no? Okay, and I did get a yes answer, and guess what I got, guys? I got 2 of swords upright, 8 of swords upright, the magician inverted, 6 of swords inverted, and the knight of pentacles. Okay, I'm not going to say who was doing witchcraft on him. I don't do things like that. Okay, because I ain't trying to get nobody coming after me. But somebody was doing witchcraft on him. Was it the cop? Because one of my moderators was saying that the cop was doing it. Show me what spirits the cop was in. The deputy was in. Okay, 5 of Wands, the Sun card in the inverted position. The King of Wands inverted, 8 of Cups upright, and 7 of Swords inverted. So this tells me that the cop was actually just kind of ready for battle. And, he was kind of ready to, the cop was in a self-destructive mode as well. But here's what I want to tell you is that, judging by the cards, Leonard Cure was definitely. Okay, I apologize that I had to cut that off. I couldn't really get into the explanations of the cards because I was recording at the same time. But what I want to break this down for y'all, okay? What I saw in the cards is that at the time Leonard Cure was under the influence of witchcraft as well as mind control. And there were very self-destructive spirits on him. Of course, the deputy is ready for battle because he's pulling over a speeder. Okay. He's pulling over somebody that's doing 100 miles on the highway. Okay. So, of course, he's going to be, and he's a cop. Leonard, however, was factually under witchcraft. Now, was he under the witchcraft of the cop? I mean, I guess we could say it on some level because the type of witchcraft that he was under, it did not come from the cop. It came from someone else. I'm not going to get into who. I'm sorry, I just don't do that. But I know full well why it was being used on him because somebody did want him dead. He actually was very self-destructive as well as suicidal. Leonard was. Okay. All of the cards that I pulled, which is exactly what I suspected when I first saw the video, like it's almost like I can see it instantly. Okay. And whatever the influence was, it had something to do with Yahweh because he said his name is Yahweh, right? And so that is, you know, first of all, the spirit that was on him possibly did have something to do with Yahweh on some level. And I've noticed that a lot of people that are under that type of influence typically are very self destructive, speaking about death, ready to die. And that was pretty much the energy that Leonard was in. um it's honestly, it's not the job of the police officers to have a street fight with people. It's not. Okay. But at any rate, I'm not giving my opinion of that because a lot of people are very triggered by that. There's some people in the Black community that feel as though no matter what, because I did see a few comments, maybe they were trolls. And, so I'm not getting into that debate. I'm pointing out the fact that Leonard Cure definitely had spirits in him. He was very angry about something. In my reading, I didn't really get into that, but I can tell you exactly why Leonard was angry. Leonard Cure was angry because he had been in prison for all of those years. And they found out that he was wrongfully convicted, that he actually did not commit a crime. So letting him out of prison didn't help the situation. He had already been imprisoned for years and years and years, proclaiming his innocence. So he was very angry about that and probably needed some kind of assistance, like some kind of guidance. People, grown people do crazy stuff all the time. But clearly, somebody used something on him that either where he either thought it was Yahweh or it was Yahweh, because again, all of that is witchcraft. All of it, anything dealing with spirit, gods, that's witchcraft. Yahweh is the spirit that is used in ritual and witchcraft. And we know that Yahweh is he's a war god. Okay, he's a war god. Okay. And so, you know, um, that's pretty much what led to this. I've got one more clip, which is the rest of the clip. Judging by the cards, Leonard Cure was definitely what was the energy? I mean, nobody is questioning this. Nobody is saying, oh, this black man was shot and he was, honestly, except for the family. And it's probably because they want money. I'm not trying to speak poorly about his family. I may edit that out. Knight of Pentacles does come up in this reading. Uh, mm,
Name of the law of the state of Georgia. Step back here now or you're getting tased.
I'm going. Watch me now.
Put your hands on the back of
so the funny hand movements and him pointing down, very strange. But here's another interesting thing that I want to point out.
the truck.
Do you see that?
Put your hands on the back of that truck.
The back of the truck.
Both hands. Turn around. 34. Can send me another unit? One non-compliant.
Your name is Officer who?
Staff Sergeant Aldridge with the Camden County Sheriff's Office.
Who county?
Camden County. Put your hand behind your back.
Do I have a warrant? Wait. No. Excuse me.
So his behavior is strange and erratic, and the police are not just going to leave you alone when you're acting erratic like that, especially if you're speeding. Speeding is a sign of either some kind of mental incapacitation, or it could have been, alcohol. So the officer was doing his job. Now, what's interesting is what Leonard Cure says next.
Either put your hands behind your back or you're getting tased. I'm telling you that right now.
Why am I getting tased?
Because you are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving.
I'm not driving. Nobody was hurt. How?
Okay, so here's where, obviously he was out of his mind. He says, I'm not driving. You just got out of the driver's seat. So who was driving? So that when people say strange things like that, that is a sign of possession. These police officers are dealing with people that are under possession, and I believe that they know it. Okay, I believe that they know it. And so I feel that, I don't like some of the laws that are in the state. And yeah, I just recently felt like I was dealing with some stuff that just wasn't fair. But I have to be unbiased about this situation. And I'm pointing out the behavior of Leonard Cure. I'm pointing out the spiritual behavior. I'm actually not really giving my judgment on this, okay? Because I'm not at liberty to judge. This is something that, to me, it seems pretty much an open and shut case. But for him to say, I'm not driving, first of all, you're lying. Why'd you lie so quickly? You are driving. You just stepped out of the driver's seat. First of all, but then also it's a sign of him being out of his mind. What do you mean you're not driving? You are driving. So to me, it's possession.
I speed.
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
Okay, so that's a speeding ticket, right?
Sir, tickets in the state of Georgia are criminal offenses.
I don't have a ticket in Georgia.
You do now?
Why?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
Offense, and what? Am I going
Hands
to jail?
behind your back. Yes, you're going to jail.
Okay. Now you see on that part where he said hands behind your back, you're going to jail. Who was he pointing up to? Did y'all see that? He pointed upward. Who was he pointing
in the state of Georgia are criminal offenses.
I don't have a ticket in Georgia.
You do now?
Why?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
Offense, and what? Am I going
Hands
to jail?
behind your back. Yes, you're going to jail.
Okay. Who was he signaling for? See, this right here is what is suspect about this. And so I'm going to give the rest of my commentary because the rest of the footage is him getting tased and shot and flailing around the ground. But I'm going to give the rest of my commentary, and I don't want to go over 10 minutes. Too late. Yeah, I had definitely went over 10 minutes. So if you notice, God, I'm sorry, guys. My throat has been kind of messed up since the other day, since I was, yeah. If you notice, Leonard Cure started pointing up at the sky, which means clearly his head was filled up with things about, he was pointing up at his sky daddy is basically what it was. That man was ready to die that day. He had, like I said, he had just gotten released from prison, and that was the last thing that he wanted to do was go to jail. But why would you be purposely trying to go to jail? So that's kind of contradictory, which is really what, the one thing that I can tell you about religion is that all of it is very contradictory. The hand motion up to the sky was him pointing up to God, or what he thought of as God, which is obviously Yahweh, because he said his name was Yahweh. Okay, I don't know if Yahweh is another word for Yahweh. Whatever reason Yahweh called him home in that way is his business. I'm just pointing it out to you. Now, also in the footage, you can see him pointing downward. He's asking the cop, he's saying, "What's that?" I feel like the reason why he was asking him that is because he was basically telling the cop that he's going to hell, because he was pointing downward. He was ready to die. He was. So if you look at the actual footage, you're going to see a lot. Okay. I did not play that because I wanted to show what had led up to the tasing and what was relevant. Okay. But he did end up overpowering the cop, and basically almost choking him. You know what I'm saying? And so, so that's, if you want to go, if you guys want to go and look at that, because that's not relevant to me. I am a woman. I am of an opinion that the world has been literally turned into, this stuff just, it's unbelievably unreal. Looking at it, it is very traumatic. Being Having to see it, you really want to unsee it, because it's a bunch of just, oh God, it's, how do I describe it? I guess it would be comparable to watching a snuff film. I mean, we watched this man literally murdered right before our eyes. And so it doesn't really matter the circumstances. It's still very traumatic that we are even witnessing all of this. But my guess is that the reason why it is being released to the public, it's for a reason, and you just really have to be strong. Okay. Now, I want to talk about why Leonard Cure would make a choice to die that day, and why he would purposely set himself up for failure, because he was possessed. He was possessed. And apparently, it was that same spirit that is causing people to be suicidal and homicidal. And everybody can have their opinion about that. You are entitled to your own thoughts and opinions about that. Because I've heard people say, people that are religious, I've heard people say, "Oh, I'm ready to go home." Right. And so I personally feel as though, um, people can do whatever they want to do with their life. It's your life. You do what you want to do with it. Okay. I personally, if I were Leonard Cure and I had just gotten exonerated, I would try to live the rest of my life to the fullest. And then not only that, obviously he would have some kind of lawsuit, because I would sue if I were wrongfully convicted. But that wasn't the case with him. Okay. He was clearly out of his mind. Now we can speculate who did it. From what I could see in the cards, I do see his family receiving some money for that. Okay. I wonder if he had children. I'm sorry, I'm getting chills all through my body. Let me grab my coat. I gotta grab my resin. I don't know if that man has children. Can you imagine being his child and seeing that happen to your father? What would possess you? What would possess you to unalive yourself in that kind of way? What would come over your spirit to make you do that? And is the money that he really receives from the lawsuit, is it worth it? I mean, he could have done anything. He could have gotten out of prison and done anything with the rest of his life. It's disturbing, it's sad, it's unfortunate. I am simply pointing out the spiritual possession. And yes, that is a very malevolent spirit that will cause you to say, oh, to hell with this world. And many, many people have different reasons for doing it: grief, pain, hurt, loss. I didn't really get into that because honestly, it's taken a lot out of me. And I said that I wasn't going to do this, but I had to do it because I think that people need to be educated on this stuff. I think people need to understand how to protect yourself from these spirits. But people say that I'm a fraud, right? While they go out and they say, I'm ready to go home to my God, Yahweh, who is Yahweh is another word for Jesus, for Jesus. Okay. Basically, well, no, not, I've heard different stories. Some people say that Yahweh is Jesus, but some people say that Jesus is the Son of God in the Bible, and that Yahweh is actually the actual God of the Bible. So it's a tragic thing. And I think that as a Black woman, I have the right to make sense of it. I'm not just a Black woman, I am a witch and I am a seer. I cannot just say that, you know, because I believe that it could have been prevented, but it wasn't. Can't go back and change it. I'm not saying that we can, but I'm saying check the religion and check yourself. He was clearly not in his right mind. And I've seen a lot of people possessed, not in their right mind. You see it all the time. Every day you see it. People killing themselves and killing each other in the name of religion, you know. And they're sort of being told, you have to believe in this or you're a bad person. And you have to follow this or you're a bad person. So that's pretty much what I wanted to point out. If anybody has any questions, you guys can post them now. I'm not going to really get too much deeper into the reading, because when you're living in a world full of chaos, making sense makes you public enemy number one. So I already know people are snarling at me because of this, and I don't care. Okay? If you have a problem with me saying this, go talk to Jesus or somebody. I don't know. But I'm just saying, people need to be more aware of their actions. And there's a lot of people that are not aware of their actions. And when you look around, people always want to talk about the Black community, but what is going on with anybody, not just the Black community, but anybody that is not in their right mind. There are thousands of videos that I could decode, and I think I will. I think I will. Especially there was a shooting of a white man at his home who literally came at the cop, zombified, and the cop shot him. It's it, you know, and so you have to ask yourself, what is really going on here? What would make somebody, break the window out of their back patio door and then crawl out and come at somebody like a zombie? You know? So, I can't exactly say what it was, but whatever the spirit was that was in him said that his name was Yahweh. And so a lot of people will say, oh, well, it was the devil. The devil made him do it. I'm not so sure about that, because I see religious people doing just what we saw and witnessed Leonard doing. There was, if you guys watched The Misery Machine, there was a lady that just stabbed two of her kids to death to save them. To save them. To me, is that real? That if you stab your kids to death, or murder them, or stab anybody, or kill somebody, that you're saving them from the devil? No, I don't. As someone that is who I am, I don't buy that. And I believe that a lot of these, you could, like I said, you could be pagan with a mental illness. Mental illness is very common. But I think that when a mental illness is being directly caused by religious programming, then it just is what it is. But yes, that's what I saw in the cards, that Leonard was more than ready to die, was very reckless. And what my spirits are telling me, because I did call to St. Michael, that, he could have been responsible for killing somebody on that highway. Okay. You heard what he said. I'm not driving. Lie. Second thing he said, nobody's hurt. Yeah, nobody was hurt, because there just so happened to be a cop on the side of the highway that pulled you over. Somebody could have been hurt. So sometimes, and so Five of Swords inverted psychosis. He was partially still in that psychosis when he was pulled over. Okay, it just is what it is. So to his family, I'm sorry that you lost your family member. I'm not being insensitive, okay? I am not like that. It's just that sometimes when I talk about things, I speak about it from a spiritual standpoint because honestly, I would never laugh at that. I would never think it's funny. But when I talk about things, it's because it is because you almost have to emotionally detach from a lot of this stuff that we are seeing. If we stay emotionally connected to this stuff, it could kill us. That's a lot of stress on your mind, on your heart, seeing all of this violence, seeing all of these horrible things, asking and begging mankind, and especially men, looking to them to make it better. But all they're doing to me is trying to scare the hell out of everybody. And yeah, I like scary movies. It's like 11 days until Halloween. Yeah, I like scary movies, but I don't want to sit and watch real life as a scary movie. I'd rather watch it behind the scenes, behind the silver screen. I don't want to see this happen. And it seems like most people on this earth are just possessed. And yeah, it is very scary. It's very scary. And what do? They abandon. They so as a woman, I already know that I have to be strong. Okay? Everybody has to be strong. So, again, rest in peace to Leonard Cure. I hope that he's resting because, and yeah, that sucks being wrongfully convicted. But it would have been nice if he would have made a better choice. Okay, it would have been nice. Now, um, I didn't throw the cards as far as the fate of the officer because a lot of people, what I do feel like I can see is that the cop may. I don't believe he's gonna walk away from that because I think that what they're going to find, and I'll have to confirm this in the cards, is that what they're going to find is that maybe tasing him was enough. But when he tased him, it did not take him down. It didn't. And yeah, a lot of people will say, well, then why didn't the cop just let him go? All he was doing was speeding. Why are we living in a society where it's a police state? Or things like that. And I'm not going to give my opinion on that. I really ain't. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. As a woman, I hope to be able to think and know that the police are here trying to protect us. You know what I'm saying? You want to believe that. You want to believe that they're here protecting us, and not here to hurt us. But yeah, we've seen a lot of it. But you know what? Again, I was talking about this that happened over in Seattle. I think it was Seattle, to where a pedestrian walked out and was hit by a car, hit by a police car. And there was footage that was released of the police officer laughing at it, like very demonically. And so yeah, I do believe that cops, some of them do end up possessed. Yeah, I saw a video of an old woman, literally just being degraded and dogged out by the cops, and she needed medical attention, and she died in that cop car. It's a whole video of it. So, but that's my spiritual analysis. feel free to leave a comment on what you think, especially if it's spiritual. That's what this is. This is a spiritual channel because I feel like a lot of this stuff, we're not going to truly address these problems in our society if we don't address the spirit of it all. Okay. All right. That's pretty much it. I will see y'all later. Blessings. Bye bye.